Alright guys, we are going to be implementing the presentation layer. So if you guys just have a look on the side, we've done the data, we've done the domain, we've done the provider. Now we're just going in the presentation. We're having a look at the front end screen that the front end developers have made for us. So this is their code right here, and we're going to be now putting it all together. We're going to be working and testing at the same time. As you can see, if I click on this button, it's not functional. It's not functional. Nothing's functional on the screen. It's all stateless, but we're going to be bringing in all those things that we've made and turn this into a fully functional screen with some backend. So this is the last video we're going to be making. So thank you for watching all the videos. I'm really hoping they're helping you. So yeah, let's get into this this screen here. The first thing we want to talk about that we did cover already is just talking about, how we take this from a stateless to a consumer stateful widget. And pretty much that's just going to have us make two classes at the top. First class at the top is going to be the widget shell, and then the second class is going to be the one that handles all the state. We're not going to touch too much of the front end code. We're just going to be touching things such as the unpressed, so that some action can happen when we press these two buttons. We just need to target the areas on the screen that need some action or need to change state. Okay. So to start out with, we're going to convert this to no longer be a stateless class, right? And I'm just going to take you through the whole process of how we do that. One thing I will say too, to keep in mind is in the documentation I'm going to provide with the lessons, it's going to have some tips for you guys to know when using consumer stateful widgets, things such as ref, context, set state, mount, ref watch, ref read. These are important because, for example, ref.watch provider, you use inside the build method, and then ref.read provider, you use in methods and callbacks only. So this is going to get clearer as we code, but I really urge you guys just to dive deep. Like, this is really the only thing you have to learn. It's just provider and riverpod. If you can just dive deep and get a better understanding and supplement that with outside YouTube videos and just read articles on riverpod and how to use it, once it clicks, it just stays. So just try follow along as best as you can, and this should be all you need for the screens that the front end send. But yeah, let's get started by turning this into a consumer stateful widget. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and the first thing we'll do is we'll just take this right here and we'll delete. Actually, we'll change it from extending to stateless to a consumer stateful widget. It's trying to add some code for me, but it's going to delete stuff. We don't want to delete what the front end people have done. So I'm going to reject that autocomplete. All we need to do here is we need to change that first class to a stateful widget, right? We keep the constructor, and then we're going to write a second class. Okay. And that second class, we're going to write the constructor first. Yes, this is correct. And this is how you create the constructor. So we'll write that constructor right over there. And pretty much create state tells Flutter when you need my state, create this. Think of it as a factory. It produces the state object once. Okay. So that's what that constructor is for. And we'll just keep this one right here, and we'll keep this constructor over here as well. Then we're going to go ahead and close this class, right? So this is one class by itself right here. Then we're going to create a second class. As I mentioned before, this first class right here is pretty much going to be the widget shell. I would call it widget shell. It's lightweight, can be freely rebuilt. And then we're going to create another class, right? And this class right here is where, yeah, the state lives, where everything lives right here. And let me see. Okay, so we don't want that. So I'm gonna just create the class. It's gonna be called class. Keynote, just make an underscore when you write it. Invite friends. Invite friends page, right? So this is gonna be the page, and then we're gonna do state, which extends the yeah. So it pretty much extends this one that we made. So we're separating the the widget and its states, so we don't always have to rebuild. So when we want to update the state, we can just update the state, and then we can also update the widget without doing a full screen rebuild. That's what RiverPod helps us do as well. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go ahead, and this is where the front end will also have this one. So I just need to close it. I think I can close it here. All right, let me add my imports too. So don't forget command dot period or command period will give you access to those imports. And then command period. Okay, that's fine. All right. So what do we want to do now? Let me just see why I'm getting an error message over here. Did I close it? Oh. This is my constructor. Oh, I guess I misspelled invite. I misspelled it. Yeah, invite friends. Yeah, right there. All right, perfect. So here's that class right here that we made. Okay. So now let's look at the front end code, okay? This is going to be the top of the class. At the top of the class, as I mentioned, we like to put the backend code over here. So we'll say backend code. So you'll typically just put your code up here, and then we'll move the front end code to the bottom. So there's a clear separation on where we're working at and where they're working at. They made this build method for us, which is super, super good. This is what allows us to, see the screen as it is, right? So what we've done is we've now integrated their build method into this consumer, stateful widget, where now this is the class where all the code lives in, and we can call some consumer state if we need to. So the first thing we want to do in the backend code, let's call our methods, right? So inside the class at the top, we'll call our method, and the method that we made, let's just say method callbacks. So how do we call back a method? Now, first thing is we should have our imports as we had them before. So we'll just do future. Yes, perfect. Asynchronous, yes. And then we'll go ahead and wait. We use ref. And then as I said before, inside the callbacks, we want to use .read, because this is going to read the invite. Don't forget that provider that we wrote, the invite friends provider dot notifier, close it, and then what we want to call from there is the dot send invite method that we wrote. Okay, invite method. So we're pretty much just calling that method here. And then I'm just gonna add yeah. Okay. I'm having some, let me see if it's an import issue. Create one missing. Oh, did I do? I'm gonna import the provider for this one. Okay, so that fixes that one. Here, our class invite friends page state, invite friends state. Oh, it's a parenthesis thing. Okay, so do I not have a closing parenthesis? Okay, let me add a closing parenthesis. Oh, no, I'm gonna add a closing parenthesis here. Where is it? There you go. Did that fix it? Okay, that fixed it there. Let me see. I'm gonna pause this and quickly troubleshoot what might be going on. Um, but typically, what I'll just do is, if I don't know something, I'll just Command L and then just just ask. Oh, I am having this error in my code. I'm not sure what I may be missing or doing. Could you read it and give me some suggestions what the issue might be? In the process of turning from stateless to consumer widget or stateful widget. I guess you guys can skip this part. I'm gonna just troubleshoot it live, and then yeah, if you guys don't want to watch this part, you can just skip it. But it may be helpful, maybe not. We'll see. Oh, I need to add an override, but no, I do have an override for the build method. Um, what could it be? Problem one, good. I can see the issue clearly. Let me walk you through what I spotted. There's actually two structural problems with the braces, or curly braces. Okay. The uninvite method is never closed. Oh, that makes sense. Let me close that method. Okay. That's what that was. That means dark things entire. No, that's correct. Okay. Problem two, the visual is outside the class. Look where the class closes. Also, the visual placeholder, which is something the front end made, is outside of the class. Okay. Um, outside of the class. Before fixing anything, let me ask you. Okay. Yeah, I think we should be okay now. So we have added our on invite. So this method that we created, right? Um, inside of uh our class, we need to now call it over here inside the build method. But in the build method, if you pay attention, we used read over here, right? In the build method, to be able to access the state from this method, which is in the provider, what we'll do is we'll create it right over here. Yes, this will allow us to read that state inside the build method. The build method is the front end code. So now we're touching the front end code a little bit and we're adding state, right? And inside that state, what we're doing is we're using ref.watch. And now we're watching the provider. Okay. So that's really important as well. We're watching the provider, and the first thing we want to do once we're done watching the provider, we want to go ahead and update the method on pressed. So on pressed now, if we can auto-complete this. We can now call this method that we made. So the on send invite, which is right here, we've now added some functionality to say when we press it, it's going to call that method we created in Firebase. And I really like the suggestion underneath. What happens now is that when it's enabled, right, and the state is not loading. So let's see. Tap that. So pretty much what I'm doing here is we're going to disable the button. So enabled means that the button is enabled, right? So the button like this is enabled so you can click on it. But when it's disabled, or when it's not enabled, then pretty much you won't be able to click on it. So this will disable the button if we are loading. So the button cannot be tapped twice when it's loading or performing that asynchronous send invite. So that's the logic to pretty much help us disable the button when it's loading. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. We'll do the get started method one in a little bit. I want to test this first and then we'll do the get started, because get started is pretty much just creating a route. Okay. But what I want to do here, under the get started button, okay, I want to create a spinner. This is something you don't typically have to do, but it's just for us to see something while the code is loading. As we go into the screens, Ethan will have like the correct ways of how he wants the loading screens to look and stuff like that, which the front end will make. But for this instance, I'm going to, since I do know a little bit about front end, I'm going to add a conditional spinner right here. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted right here, actually. I'm going to do if the state is loading. Yes, const center a circular progress spinner. Yeah, so this is a built-in method. It's not from the design system or anything. So just be mindful of that. It's not something we would typically use or add. I'm just going to add some padding to it as well, just so that it looks appealing. Const padding, and then I will do this. I'll put this thing inside that padding. So let me start like this. This is just some front end stuff. You guys don't have to worry too much about this, but this is just so the spinner looks presentable. Now make it edge only. And then top 16. Yeah. Then we can do child and we'll center it. The spinner. Yeah. So this part of it, don't worry too much about that. Front end will have all that configured for you. All you'll do is just pretty much just add the state and then call the spinner that they made. This is a built-in one from Flutter. So let me see if I do need to import. Okay, it already has materials here. So yeah, let's give it a try. We're going to refresh the app and we'll be able to like officially test for the first time our method. So we made the send invite method. For the first thing we want to do is once it clicks, we should see a spinner and it should wait 3 seconds. We haven't sent any. Should it do the success? I think it should do the success message too, because I believe we wired that up too. So it should show us a success method. But we would need to add some logic. Let's add logic for the success method too, actually. I think that would be pretty awesome. So I'm gonna go back to the build method over here. So here I'm gonna just do a comment that says state management management code. Read state must be, yeah, so we talked about that, but we can remove that comment. State management code, and then over here we'll do success message. And wow, this is pretty good as well. Yeah. It's exactly what I wanted. Um, and pretty much it's just inside of the front end code, right? If the state dot success message is not null, will show a snack bar, which is going to pop off at the middle over here. Our success messages are going to be custom built, so you don't have to worry about this too. But this is just so we can wire. So when you see their code for like, wiring success message or anything like that, you'll come in and add your state stuff over here. And that snack bar, the content is just going to show the state dot success message pretty much. So I think we can give this a try. Let's rerun the app and see if we have any issues or if stuff is wrong. Um, but I think everything should be okay. And then I'm gonna put here, this is like really the UI code right here. Yeah, the UI code is here. That's what the front end guys do, the scaffolds, safe areas, all that stuff. And then for us, we're gonna click the button, then we're gonna should have loading spinner, wait 3 seconds, and then the success message. 1, 2, 3. Oh, show snack bar method cannot be called during build. The snack bar was called requires updating state snack bars. So this is what I mean sometimes when this is actually great. When I say that, sometimes it's a little tricky to work code side the front end because maybe you update something and it messes up for them and they like panic, oh, what's going on? But it's pretty simple for us. We'll just refresh. What I like to do is I like to just take a screenshot of this and I'll take a screenshot of that and I'll open my agent, kind of let them know had this error. Could you help me fix it, please? And then we just refresh the screen. And then we start again once we, oh, not logged in. Oh, there we go. Okay. Good progress. You fixed the brace issues before. It's a very important concept to understand. Show snack bar method cannot be called during build. Okay. Front end stuff. Pod. Before I show you in update code and fix it, please. Since it's UI stuff, I'm not really too interested, to be honest. Oh yeah, I forgot. I put training restrictions on my AI, so it doesn't actually fix things for me unless if I force it to. Okay, here's my proposed fix. Remove if log. Okay, since I'm just gonna fix it, I'm gonna pause this since it's a UI thing and then come back because this video is 23 minutes long already. It's too long. Okay, was able to troubleshoot that quickly. Um, Pretty much I was missing my two variables for the previous state, the next state. This is just checking if the success message has a message. So if it's not null, then yeah, just show that message that's inside of the updated state. So pretty much let's give that a try and see if we were successful. So I'll just run it. We'll do send invite. Wait. Again? Pause this. I think I see what the issue was. And it's a small thing, man. This part right here, when I used the autocomplete, I completely missed it. But we're calling the provider is what we're trying to call. Um, so that's what, yeah, that import. That's all I was doing wrong. What just happened? call right here. Oh, I guess it removed my but yeah, if I we're calling the provider, not the invites friends state, but we're actually calling the provider to listen for the success message inside the provider. I wasn't paying attention to that. I wasn't paying attention because I had called this invite friends state thing right there. So little things like that, but I haven't even run it yet, so I don't even know if this worked. But I think that's what it should be. So let's try it and see if we get that error again. Okay, invite sent successfully. Okay, I'm so sorry this video is so long. But yeah, the backend is tough. The backend is a bit tricky. And it's something that I'm weaker at, because I just spent so much time learning the front end. So I recently just started learning the back end, so I need to get good at this too. But yeah, we'll be learning together. The last thing is this get started method. There's nothing happens when we click on that. This one is super easy. We're just gonna write a method here that returns void get started. And it's pretty much just gonna be a void method so that when we do press get started, we just route back to the home page for now. So all you do to do that, is you just need to route back to the home page. So if you guys watch the routing video, you will then have the tool set to be able to do this right here. This needs to be closed. And it's pretty simple. You just use context, right? Dot go named, and this we have app route constants that we can call. So you just call app routes or app route what the page you want to go to. So we want to go to the home page and dot name, which is the name of the page, and that is going to successfully route you to the home page, I believe. And then we can remove that. This is an error because we just haven't called it. So we just need to call this class from the route constants, and then we just need to call this one from go router. And these are the imports you guys would need. Those imports would also be in the reference code as well. Imports. Dang, I'm getting kind of tired. Almost done. So this is just gonna route us back to the home page once we are done. Okay, restart, invite friends, get started should route back to home. Oh, see, I'm getting tired. So the reason it's not working because we didn't wire it. So we added the method, right? We added the backend code to our section, but we need to call this method in the UI. So we need to go to the front end code and figure out where the get started button is. So we'll just need to read their code a little bit and see where they wrote that at. And I believe get started button. So get started button right here on pressed. So when the button is pressed, we want to call that method we just wrote up top. And I believe now it should be good. Let's see. Okay. Invite friends, get started. Perfect. Takes us back to the home. We routed that successfully. We want to send an invite, simulate Firebase call, it's loading, invite successfully sent. Perfect. And yeah, you've successfully added a backend to your, now we're not going to go into why all that's happening. But this is when we need to talk about resetting providers. Once you're done calling the provider, you need to reset it, so that it doesn't just like look at the current state and then just keep building off of that. Once you use it once, we need to reset providers so things like this don't happen, where it's like saying invite sent. So those are some things we'll learn too as well as we build more complex screens. But for now, what I would say, I think this is the fundamentals and is a good good stopping point for these videos. So I'm going to end the video over here. Everything should be added in the reference material right here. On the side, Control B. You guys will have your reference material right here. Invite friends. You guys will be able to see the data, domain, presentation, pages, providers, everything that I wrote, and be able to just reference it. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this video. I'll also send you guys the lesson plan as well with all the documentation that you guys can read and follow along with. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, I hope these videos help you guys out. Peace.